chosen one. Heaven just tore open the veil. Right now, this second. As your eyes read these words, the spiritual atmosphere around you is crackling with electricity that has your name written in lightning. This is not entertainment. This is not coincidence. This is your divine appointment letter, delivered straight from the throne room into your trembling hands. Stop scrolling. Stop drifting. God scheduled this moment with your spirit before you even woke up this morning. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That restlessness clawing at your chest, that unexplained heaviness pressing down on your shoulders like invisible hands, that loneliness so deep it echoes in rooms full of people. You thought you were losing your mind. You thought you were broken. You're not broken, beloved. You're being awakened. Heaven is no longer whispering, it's roaring. And that sound you've been hearing in the distance, that rumble beneath your ribs, that's not anxiety. That's the footsteps of your destiny approaching at supernatural speed. The same God who parted seas, who spoke galaxies into existence, who breathed life into dust. He just leaned down from his throne and whispered your name into the wind. You didn't stumble upon this message. You were pulled here by invisible hands, guided by forces that move mountains when necessary. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. In the next 60 seconds, the spiritual frequency of your entire life is about to shift. The portal that just cracked open has your fingerprints all over it. This isn't random. This is the moment heaven has been orchestrating while you've been wandering in the wilderness, wondering if God still sees you. He sees you, he's been watching, and he's about to prove it. If you know this word is tugging at your spirit like a fishhook in your soul, type 777-inch the comments right now. Don't just watch, prophesy with your action. Let your fingertips become instruments of declaration, because every number you type is a signal flare shot into the darkness, telling heaven, I'm listening, I'm ready, I'm here. To every warrior who's supported this message through prayer, presence, or provision, you're not just helping a channel reach people, you're helping heaven reach someone drowning in the dark. Your seed isn't falling on concrete, it's landing in fertile spiritual soil. But even if you can't give a dime, beloved, you're still chosen. Your presence here is the gift. Your attention is sacred currency. This isn't coincidence. This is your divine appointment. The restlessness you've been carrying, it's labor pains. Something unprecedented is about to be birthed through your life. The isolation you've endured, it was preparation. The pain that nearly broke you, it was positioning. Now breathe deep, stay close, lock your spiritual seatbelt. Because what you're about to hear has the power to rewrite everything you thought you knew about why you're still breathing. Your movie just started rolling, and God himself is directing every scene. Have you been feeling like a stranger in your own life lately? Like you're walking through scenes that used to feel familiar, but now everything seems different? Why does your spirit feel restless in places that once brought you peace? Listen carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to reveal will make everything click into place. You've been receiving divine signals, not through burning bushes or audible voices, but through the subtle earthquake tremors running beneath your everyday existence. That unexplained heaviness pressing down on your chest when you wake up, that's not depression, beloved. That's your spirit responding to atmospheric pressure changes in the realm of heaven. Your soul is a spiritual barometer, and it's been detecting a massive storm system approaching. Not a storm of destruction, but a storm of divine reset. And just like animals flee before earthquakes strike, your spirit has been trying to pull you away from places, people, and patterns that won't survive what's coming. Think about it. How many relationships have you felt mysteriously distanced from lately? People you once called close friends now feel like strangers speaking a foreign language. Conversations that used to flow naturally now feel forced, shallow, empty. You find yourself making excuses to avoid gatherings that once energized you. This isn't you becoming antisocial, dear one. This is God's hand gently separating you from everything that would hold you back when it's time to move. Remember Noah. For decades he hammered and sawed while his neighbors mocked him for building a boat in the desert. The sky was clear. There wasn't a cloud in sight. But Noah wasn't building based on what his eyes could see. He was responding to a divine signal his spirit had received. When the first raindrops fell, Noah wasn't surprised. He was prepared. While his neighbors scrambled for higher ground, Noah was already floating above the chaos. Right now, you're in your Noah season. God is telling you to build something, not an ark of wood, but an ark of spiritual preparation. And the people around you who can't hear what you're hearing, they're looking at your sudden changes with confusion, maybe even criticism. Why are you pulling away from us? Why are you so serious all the time now? You've changed, and not for the better. Let them talk, chosen one. Noah's neighbors had opinions too. But here's where it gets intense. This divine reset isn't just personal, it's generational. God is about to shake everything that can be shaken. Careers that seemed secure will crumble overnight. Relationships built on convenience will dissolve like sugar in rain. Systems that appeared permanent will collapse faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. But you who have been feeling the tremors, you who have been mysteriously urged to step back and reassess, you're being positioned above the flood. The 5 wise virgins in Jesus' parable understood this principle. While the foolish ones were scrambling for oil at the last minute, the wise ones had been quietly preparing long before the bridegroom's arrival was announced. They trimmed their lamps in the darkness. They maintained their oil reserves when no wedding was in sight. When the midnight cry finally came, "Behold, the bridegroom." Only those who had been spiritually ready could enter the celebration. The foolish ones missed it, not because God loved them less, but because they ignored the signals, dismissed the preparation time as unnecessary, and assumed they could catch up later. There is no catching up in the spirit realm, beloved. There is only readiness or regret. Can you feel the midnight hour approaching? Can you sense the bridegroom's footsteps echoing in the corridors of heaven? That restlessness in your chest isn't anxiety, it's anticipation. Your spirit recognizes the sound of approaching destiny. This is why God has been pruning your life so aggressively lately. Every branch that He's cut away, every door He's mysteriously closed, every person He's moved out of your inner circle, none of it was punishment. It was preparation. John 15:2 declares, "Every branch that bears fruit, He prunes so that it will be even more fruitful." The cutting hurts, but the harvest is worth the pain. God isn't finished with you, dear one. He's finishing what doesn't belong in your next chapter. The isolation you've been feeling, that's not abandonment, that's consecration. You're being set apart for something so significant that heaven couldn't risk leaving you tangled up in mediocrity. The people who were meant to walk with you into this new season, they're sensing the same signals you are. They're experiencing the same mysterious pull towards spiritual preparation. They're feeling the same unexplained urgency to get right with God, to clean house, to prioritize what truly matters. But those who are spiritually asleep, they're scrolling through life like nothing is happening. They're planning next year's vacation while you're preparing for eternity's breakthrough. They're decorating their temporary dwellings while you're building foundations that can't be shaken. This is the great separation, chosen one, not a rapture of bodies, but a division of spirits. Those who can discern the times will respond to the call. Those who can't will sleep through the greatest spiritual awakening in human history. If this word is resonating in your bones like a tuning fork struck by heaven's hand, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message right now. Someone you love is missing the signs, mistaking God's preparation for painful coincidence. Because here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand. This divine reset isn't coming to destroy your life, it's coming to reveal the life you were always meant to live. But the question that will determine everything is this: will you answer heaven's call to prepare, or will you explain away these divine signals until it's too late to respond? Chosen one, let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core and set you free at the same time. The relentless attacks you've been facing, the isolation that cuts like a blade, the betrayals that left you gasping for air, the mocking of your faith by people who used to respect you, none of it was random. You weren't targeted because you're weak. You were targeted because you're dangerous. Think about it. When did the attacks intensify? Right around the time you started getting serious about your walk with God. Right when you began to pray differently, think differently, move differently. The moment you stopped blending in with the crowd and started standing out in your faith, that's when hell took notice. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on empty targets. He doesn't send his finest weapons after people who pose no threat to his kingdom. But you've been feeling like you're under siege because you are under siege. And that siege is the most backhanded compliment the devil could ever give you. Look at Joseph. Genesis 37 tells us he was his father's beloved son, walking in divine favor and prophetic dreams. But what happened next? His own brothers threw him in a pit. They sold him into slavery. They let his father believe he was dead. For 17 years, Joseph faced betrayal after betrayal, accusation after accusation, prison after prison. Was Joseph being punished? No. He was being positioned. Every attack was preparing him for a palace. Every setback was setting him up for a comeback that would save nations. The pit wasn't his punishment, it was his preparation for the palace. You think Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison because he was weak? That man was so dangerous to the system of oppression that they had to lock him away for nearly 3 decades. But those prison walls didn't break him, they built him. When he walked out, he didn't just walk into freedom, he walked into the presidency of a nation. Oprah Winfrey faced poverty, abuse, and rejection that would have destroyed most people. Media executives told her she was too emotional for television, too black, too woman, too everything that didn't fit their mold. But every no was preparing her for a yes that would make her one of the most influential voices in the world. What am I telling you? The fire didn't burn them, it refined them. And you, beloved, you've been in the refiner's fire. You've been forged like steel in temperatures that would melt ordinary metal. While others lived in comfort, you were shaped in chaos. While they had easy paths, you walked through valleys that had no names. But here's what I need you to understand. Steel isn't made in a warm room with soft music playing. Steel is made in a furnace, hot enough to transform the very molecular structure of iron. The pressure you've been under isn't breaking you, it's making you unbreakable. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Job 23:10. The isolation you felt? That wasn't abandonment. That was God pulling you away from influences that would contaminate your calling. The loneliness that felt like punishment, that was protection. Heaven cleared the room so you could hear the voice that matters most. Every person who walked away from you when you got serious about God, they weren't rejecting you. They were revealing themselves. They couldn't stay close to someone moving toward the light when they preferred the darkness. And those people who mocked your faith, who called you too religious or too intense, they're the same type of people who mocked Noah while he built the ark. They laughed right up until the rain started falling. Then suddenly, Noah didn't look so crazy anymore. Here's what the enemy didn't count on. Every attack was actually an advertisement. Every time he came for you, he was announcing to the spiritual realm, this one is chosen, this one is dangerous, this one must be stopped. But you can't stop what God has ordained. The confusion you've faced, the mental fog, the moments when you questioned your own sanity that wasn't your mind failing. That was spiritual warfare at its most intense. The enemy knows he can't kill your body, so he attacks your thoughts. He can't destroy your destiny, so he tries to destroy your confidence in that destiny. But I'm here to tell you, every weapon formed against you has failed. You're still standing, you're still breathing, you're still believing, and that terrifies the kingdom of darkness more than you know. Type "I'm chosen" in the comments if you've felt that relentless pressure but now see it as proof of purpose. Let your declaration shake the digital realm. Let every keystroke be a battle cry that says, "I see what you've been doing, devil, and I'm not impressed." The attacks were never about stopping you. They were about revealing who you really are. They stripped away everything that wasn't authentic, everything that wasn't aligned with your true calling. The fire burned away the dross and left behind pure gold. You thought you were being destroyed. You were being refined. But here's the question that's going to change everything. If you've been under attack because you're chosen, and if every trial has been preparation for something greater, then what exactly has God been preparing you for? Chosen one, can you feel it? That electric tension crackling through the air like the moments before lightning strikes. The spiritual atmosphere of America, no. The entire world is trembling on the edge of something unprecedented, something massive, something that will separate the wheat from the chaff in ways this generation has never witnessed. God is moving his hand across this nation like a divine eraser, and what he's about to wipe clean will shock you to your core. Look around you, beloved. Really look. The chaos erupting in our streets isn't just political unrest, it's spiritual warfare made visible. The confusion poisoning our communities isn't just social breakdown, it's the death rattle of systems built on lies. The heaviness pressing down on neighborhoods from Brooklyn to Beverly Hills isn't just cultural tension, it's the weight of divine judgment preparing to fall. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. This divine reset isn't coming, dear one. It's here, right now, unfolding in real time, while most people scroll through their phones, oblivious to the spiritual earthquake, shaking the very foundations beneath their feet. You've been sensing it, haven't you? That gnawing feeling in your gut that something massive is about to break open, that restlessness that won't let you sleep peacefully anymore, that inexplicable urge to prepare for something you can't even name yet. Your spirit knows what your mind hasn't caught up to yet. Heaven is purging what no longer serves God's purposes, and it's happening with the force of a Category 5 hurricane ripping through everything fake, everything corrupt, everything built on sand instead of stone. But here's where it gets real, chosen one. Here's where the rubber meets the road and eternity crashes into time. This divine reset will not affect everyone the same way. It can't, it won't. Those who have been spiritually sleeping will be crushed under the weight of sudden awakening. Those who have built their lives on materialism, on comfort, on the approval of others, they will watch their foundations crumble like sandcastles at high tide. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. Matthew 7:26. But you, beloved, you who have been walking through the wilderness, you who have been refined in the fire of rejection, loss, and inexplicable trials, you are about to rise like cream to the top of milk. The wave is already swelling, and it's bigger than anything this world has ever seen. Tsunami-sized, mountain-moving, reality-shifting. And here's your moment of truth. You will either surf this wave with supernatural grace, or you will be swallowed by the very forces that are meant to elevate you. Right now, I need you to speak this out loud. Don't just think it, declare it with your voice. I will ride the wave. Say it again, louder this time. I will ride the wave. Let your words become a prophetic decree that cuts through every spirit of fear trying to convince you to duck and hide. Because hiding is not an option anymore. Chosen one. Do you see what's happening in America right now? The division that seems impossible to bridge. The anger that burns hotter than August asphalt in Phoenix. The confusion that has grown men and women walking around like zombies, spiritually dead but still breathing. This isn't random chaos. This is divine pressure building up before the explosion of truth. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Matthew 24:7. We're not just reading about end times anymore, beloved. We're living in them. But you were born for such a time as this. Not to cower in the corner, not to blend into the background, not to whisper prayers and hope nobody notices you. You were born to be the lighthouse when the storm hits hardest. The same God who told Noah to build an ark when there wasn't a cloud in the sky is telling you to prepare right now for something that will reshape everything you thought you knew about how this world works. The same God who told Moses to stretch out his hand over the Red Sea is stretching out his hand over America, over your life, over your circumstances. And when that hand moves, mountains don't just relocate, they pulverize into dust. Here's what the unprepared don't understand. This reset isn't punishment, it's purification. God isn't destroying his people, he's destroying what's been destroying his people. The systems that have kept you small, the lies that have kept you limited, the spiritual poverty that has kept you believing you're ordinary when you were designed for the extraordinary. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. But the transition, the in-between, the moment when the old crumbles and the new hasn't fully formed yet, that's where warriors are separated from warriors. That's where the chosen rise, while others fall. You've been asking God for breakthrough, haven't you? For doors to open, for circumstances to shift, for your life to finally make sense. Well, chosen one, breakthrough doesn't come through cracks in the wall. It comes when the entire wall explodes into rubble. The wave is here. The reset has begun. The spiritual atmosphere over your life is shifting so dramatically that angels are repositioning themselves around you right now, preparing for what's about to unfold. And you, standing at the crossroads between yesterday's limitations and tomorrow's limitless possibilities, you get to choose your response. But here's the question that will determine everything about your next chapter. Now listen close, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you could be the difference between surviving what's coming and thriving in it. You've heard the warning, you've felt the stirring, but awareness without action is like having a fire alarm that nobody responds to. The house still burns down. God didn't wake you up just to watch you hit the snooze button on your destiny. Your spirit is an ark, beloved. And, just like Noah, you've got a choice to make. Are you going to build when others are mocking? Are you going to prepare when the crowd is partying? Because I'm telling you right now, the rain is coming. And when it hits, there won't be time to gather your spiritual materials. The question that should be burning in your chest is this: what does spiritual preparation actually look like when everything around you is designed to keep you asleep? Let me paint you a picture. Two people wake up tomorrow morning. Same age, same neighborhood, same struggles. But one has been building their ark in secret, and the other has been scrolling their life away. When the storm hits, and it will hit, guess who's still standing? The prepared believer wakes up, and their first breath is a prayer. Before their feet hit the floor, they're already talking to the Most High. Lord, what do you need me to see today? How do you want to use me? They guard their morning like it's sacred ground, because they know the first hour sets the frequency for the next 23. But the sleeping believer, their first move is reaching for their phone, immediately flooding their spirit with other people's opinions, yesterday's drama, and tomorrow's fears. They're drinking poison and wondering why their soul feels sick. Here's what preparation looks like in the flesh, chosen one. You wake up and you pray before you scroll. You speak life before you absorb death. You declare victory before the devil even knows you're awake. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. That's not just a nice verse, that's spiritual warfare disguised as worship. You guard your energy like it's liquid gold, because it is. Every person who calls you, every conversation you enter, every piece of content you consume, it's either depositing into your spirit or withdrawing from it. And most people, beloved, are spiritual vampires who don't even know they're feeding. The prepared believer asks hard questions. Does this person leave me feeling closer to God or further away? Does this relationship make me better or bitter? Am I being used or am I being blessed? But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Some of you have been so hungry for connection that you've been feeding scraps to vampires, hoping they'll turn into angels. You've been pouring your anointing into broken cisterns, wondering why you feel empty. Listen to me carefully. Jesus said, "Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs." That's not mean, that's wisdom. Your peace is sacred. Your energy is sacred. Your anointing is sacred. And not everyone deserves access to what God has deposited in you. The sleeping believer says, "But I don't want to hurt their feelings." The awake believer says, "I refuse to hurt my calling." You want to know the difference? The prepared believer has learned to discern between God's voice and the noise. They've trained their spiritual ears like a musician trains their natural ones. When God whispers, "Move," they don't wait for a committee vote. When the Spirit says, "Stop," they don't need a logical explanation. But the sleeping believer is so filled with media noise, social media static, and other people's opinions that they couldn't hear God if he used a megaphone. They're spiritually deaf and calling it balanced living. Preparation means you turn off the news and tune into the Spirit. You stop asking Google what you should think and start asking God what he thinks. You quit crowdsourcing your decisions and start consulting the only voice that actually matters. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. This isn't a suggestion, beloved. This is survival. The prepared believer protects their peace like a mother protects her child. They say no to drama. They say no to gossip. They say no to conversations that steal their joy and leave them feeling spiritually bruised. They'd rather be alone with God than surrounded by people who drain their anointing. But here's the part that's going to challenge you. True preparation means you might have to walk away from relationships that feel comfortable but aren't conducive to your calling. You might have to change churches that entertain you but don't equip you. You might have to stop watching shows that numb your spirit and start reading books that nourish your soul. The crowd will call you extreme. The sleeping believers will say, "You're doing too much." But Noah looked extreme too until it started raining. So let me ask you this, and I want you to answer honestly in your heart. Are you building your ark, or are you still standing with the crowd, laughing at the man with the hammer? Because here's what the prepared believer understands that the sleeping one doesn't. This isn't about being perfect. This is about being ready. It's not about having all the answers. It's about knowing the one who does. Right now, I want you to pause this video. I'm serious. Pause it right here and declare out loud, "Lord, prepare me now. Whatever you need to remove, remove it. Whatever you need to add, add it. I'm done playing games with my destiny." If you're serious about this, if you're ready to stop being a spiritual spectator and start being a participant, write those exact words in the comments. Lord, prepare me now. Because, beloved, what's coming next isn't just about surviving the storm. It's about becoming the lighthouse that guides others home. Chosen one, I need you to stop running from the mirror. For 70 years, maybe 80, you've been dodging your reflection in the shattered glass of your trials. Every betrayal, every loss, every midnight hour when your heart felt like it was splitting down the middle, you called it punishment. You labeled it failure. You whispered in the darkness, "God, why me?" But what if I told you that every storm that nearly destroyed you was actually God's chisel, carving away everything false so the real you could finally breathe? Listen to me, beloved. Your trials were never random acts of cruelty. They were surgical strikes of divine precision, designed to reveal what you're truly made of. The Bible doesn't lie when it says, "Consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." James 1:2-3. Joy in the middle of hell? Yes, because hell was never your destination, it was your transformation chamber. You survived the death of dreams that felt like oxygen. You buried people who were pieces of your soul. You watched your body change, your energy fade, your reflection age in ways that terrified you. And society whispered lies. Your best years are behind you. You're too old, too tired, too late. But look at you now, still breathing, still fighting, still believing something better is coming. That's not decline, beloved. That's defiance against every force that tried to bury you alive. The storm didn't come to break you. It came to show you what cannot be shaken. Think about a diamond. For millions of years, it sits buried under crushing pressure, squeezed by forces that would pulverize ordinary rock. But when it finally emerges, it doesn't just survive, it becomes the hardest substance on Earth. So brilliant it captures light and throws it back in rainbows. You are that diamond, chosen one. Every year you've lived, every tear you've cried, every betrayal that left you gasping for air that was pressure, divine pressure, shaping you into something unbreakable, something that shines with a light this world has never seen. Your age is not evidence of decay. It's proof you survived storms that would have destroyed weaker souls. When Jesus said, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." John 16:33. He wasn't offering you a life of ease. He was promising you victory through the battlefield. And every gray hair on your head is a battle scar that proves you didn't just survive, you conquered. But here's where it gets personal. And I need you to feel this in your bones. That trial that almost killed you, the one you never talk about, the one that still makes you flinch when someone gets too close to the truth that wasn't your enemy, that was your mirror. It showed you depths of strength you never knew existed. It forced you to call on God with a desperation that shattered religious pretense and found raw, unshakable faith. It stripped away every false comfort until all you had left was Him. And in that nakedness, in that terrifying vulnerability, you discovered you were enough. Not because of what you accomplished, but because of what you endured. The mirror of trials doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It shows you exactly who you are when everything else is stripped away. And what it revealed in you, beloved, is pure steel wrapped in flesh. You want to know why you're still here when others gave up? Why you're still standing when your peers are sitting in defeat? Because God saw something in you that required extreme heat to bring to the surface. Something precious that could only be refined through fire. But He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Job 23:10. Not silver, not bronze, gold. Every sleepless night was God keeping you awake for a divine download. Every loss was Him clearing space for something better. Every betrayal was Him removing people who couldn't go where He's taking you. Every moment you felt abandoned was Him teaching you to lean on arms that never grow weary. The oak tree doesn't apologize for the storms that bent its branches. It celebrates the roots that grew deeper with every hurricane. And you, chosen one, have roots that reach down to bedrock now. Nothing can uproot what God has planted and pressure has perfected. If you know trials made you wiser, not weaker, lift your hands right where you are and type "refined by fire" in the comments. Let your testimony become someone else's hope. Let your survival story become their survival strategy. Because here's the revelation that's about to shatter everything you thought you knew about your pain. It was never punishment. It was preparation. God wasn't trying to destroy you. He was preparing you for an assignment so significant, so unprecedented, that only someone who had been through hell and back could handle it. Only someone who had been tested at temperatures that would melt ordinary faith could carry the weight of what he's about to release through you. Your trials weren't the end of your story. They were the beginning of your authority. And that mirror you've been avoiding, it's time to look again, because what you'll see staring back at you isn't a victim. It's a victor. Not someone broken beyond repair, but someone rebuilt by the master architect himself. The question isn't why you went through what you went through. The question is, now that you know it was all preparation, what are you going to do with the authority it gave you? Now comes the unveiling, chosen one. You've been hidden long enough, prepared in secret, refined in shadows. But heaven is about to pull back the curtain and reveal what it's been crafting in the darkness of your waiting seasons. For too long, you've believed the lie that your silence meant God forgot you, that your isolation was rejection, that your delay was denial. But beloved, what if I told you that every single moment you felt invisible, heaven was actually positioning you? What if your hiddenness wasn't punishment, it was preparation for the most dramatic reveal of your lifetime? The Bible shows us this pattern repeatedly. David wasn't crowned king the day Samuel poured oil on his head in that small house in Bethlehem. No, he was anointed in secret, then sent back to the sheep, back to the fields, back to obscurity. For years, he carried the weight of a calling no one could see. His own family dismissed him. His brothers mocked him. The world saw a shepherd boy, but God saw a giant killer. When Goliath thundered his threats across that valley, when seasoned warriors trembled in their tents, when fear paralyzed an entire army, that's when heaven said, "Now, reveal him now." David stepped onto that battlefield, not as the forgotten youngest son, but as the secret weapon God had been sharpening in private. Chosen one, are you hearing me? Your Goliath moment is approaching. That giant that's been taunting your peace, mocking your dreams, telling you you're too old, too broken, too late, it's about to meet the secret weapon heaven has been preparing in you. You think God has been silent? He's been strategic. You think he's been absent? He's been arranging. Every tear you cried in private was collecting in heaven's bottle. Every prayer you whispered in desperation was being woven into a tapestry of purpose you're about to step into. Look at Esther, hidden in a foreign palace, identity concealed, purpose unclear. She could have lived her entire life as just another pretty face in the king's harem. But when the moment of crisis arrived, when her people faced extinction, heaven didn't choose the loudest voice or the most obvious candidate. It chose the one who had been prepared in secret. For such a time as this, Mordecai told her, for such a time as this, chosen one, you have been preserved. Right now, somewhere in your city, in your family, in your sphere of influence, there's a crisis brewing that only your specific anointing can address. There's a problem that your particular pain has equipped you to solve. There's a breakthrough that can only come through someone who has walked through what you've walked through. Your silence wasn't rejection, it was consecration. Every season you felt overlooked, God was looking you over, examining your heart, testing your faithfulness when no one was watching. He was asking the question that separates the chosen from the called. Will you serve me when there's no spotlight? Will you worship me when there's no applause? Will you trust me when you can't trace me? You passed the test, beloved. You didn't even know you were taking it, but you passed. Think about this for a moment. Why would heaven hide its most powerful weapons until the last possible second? Because the enemy studies what's visible. Satan can prepare for what he can see coming, but he can't fight what he doesn't know exists. You've been heaven's secret weapon, and your time of hiding is over. The curtain is rising, chosen one. The stage lights are blazing. The audience of heaven is on its feet, and you're about to walk into a purpose so perfectly fitted to your gifts, your pain, your personality, that everyone who sees it will know this could only be God. But here's what's going to shock you the most. The very things the enemy used to try to disqualify you, your age, your past, your mistakes, your failures, those are going to become your greatest credentials, because God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. Moses had a speech impediment and a murder charge. Rahab was a prostitute. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Paul persecuted the church. Yet these became some of heaven's most powerful voices. Your scars aren't disqualifications, beloved. They're your diploma from the University of Divine Purpose. Are you ready for this unveiling? Because it's not just about you stepping into your calling. When you rise, you give permission for others to rise. When you break generational cycles, you set captives free. When you walk boldly into your purpose, you become a lighthouse for everyone still lost at sea. The world needs what God planted in you during those dark seasons. The wisdom you gained in the valley, the strength you built in the storm, the compassion you developed in the crucible. God didn't forget you, chosen one. He delayed you for perfect timing. He positioned you for maximum impact. He prepared you for unprecedented purpose. Chosen one, if you're ready for your unveiling, don't just think it, say it out loud right now. Reveal me, Lord. I'm ready for my moment. I'm ready for my purpose. I'm ready to step out of the shadows and into the spotlight of heaven's assignment. Because, beloved, your hiding season is over. Your revealing season has begun, and what heaven is about to unveil through your life is going to leave fingerprints on eternity itself. The question is no longer if you're chosen. The question is, are you ready to be revealed? Chosen one, what I'm about to reveal will shatter every small dream you've ever had about your purpose. Because while you've been thinking your calling is personal, heaven has been preparing you for something cosmic. You are not just surviving this shift. You are the shift. Right now, as spiritual darkness blankets the earth like a suffocating fog, millions of souls are wandering blind, desperate for someone, anyone who carries even a flicker of divine light. They're drowning in confusion while you've been wondering why God allowed you to walk through hell and come out glowing. This is why. You weren't refined in the fire for your own benefit. You were forged to become a lighthouse in the storm that's coming. Every betrayal that should have broken you, every loss that should have destroyed you, every night you cried yourself to sleep, wondering if God had forgotten your name, it was all preparation for this moment. The moment when your individual healing becomes humanity's hope. Look at Rosa Parks. One tired seamstress who refused to give up her seat. She didn't set out to change history. She simply stayed still in her truth while the world raged around her. That single act of stillness triggered a global ripple that's still moving today. Her personal courage became generational transformation. Dear friend, what if your refusal to quit, your decision to keep believing when everyone else gave up, your choice to forgive, when revenge felt justified, what if all of it was heaven positioning you to trigger the same kind of ripple? You think you've been walking alone, but you've been walking for millions who are still trapped in the darkness you escaped. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. This isn't a suggestion. This is your marching orders from the throne room of eternity. The global shift isn't coming, beloved. It's here. Can you feel the spiritual tremors beneath your feet, the restlessness in the atmosphere, the The sudden hunger in people's eyes when they look at you and see something they can't name but desperately need. That's not imagination, that's recognition. They're recognizing the light in you that's been dormant for decades, waiting for this exact moment to blaze. But here's what will shock you to your core. You are not just chosen for you. You are chosen for generations yet unborn. The breakthrough you're experiencing isn't stopping with your bloodline. It's designed to echo through time like thunder rolling across eternity. Every chain you've broken, every curse you've shattered, every lie you've exposed it, doesn't just set you free. It creates a pathway for your children's children to walk in liberty you fought to establish. Think about it. When Moses led Israel out of Egypt, he wasn't just saving a generation, he was establishing a freedom that would resonate for thousands of years. When David faced Goliath, he wasn't just protecting an army, he was demonstrating courage that would inspire warriors across centuries. You, chosen one, are writing a story that will be read by souls you'll never meet in this lifetime. But this comes with a weight that will either crush you or crown you. Because when heaven calls you to be a lighthouse, it's not asking you to shine when it's convenient. It's commanding you to burn brightest when the darkness is deepest. When your neighbors are panicking, you'll need to radiate peace. When your family is falling apart, you'll need to demonstrate faith. When the world is screaming, you'll need to speak with the authority of someone who's been in the throne room and returned with orders. Are you ready for that responsibility? Because ready or not, the ships are already looking for your light. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Jesus didn't say you might be the light. He said, you are the light, past tense, present reality, future certainty. But here's the part that will either terrify you or ignite you. This lighthouse calling isn't gentle, it's dangerous. Because when you carry divine light in a world addicted to darkness, you become a target. The same forces that tried to destroy you before will return with reinforcements. They will question your motives. They will attack your character. They will try to convince others that your light is actually darkness disguised. But you've been through this before, haven't you? You survived their first assault. You're stronger now, wiser, more anchored in truth than ever before. And this time, you won't be standing alone. This time, you'll be surrounded by other lighthouses, other torches, other chosen ones who've been through their own refining fires and emerged carrying the same unquenchable flame. One torch lights another. One lighthouse guides other lighthouses to their positions. Your breakthrough creates permission for others to break through. Your courage gives others permission to be courageous. The ripple effect you're about to trigger won't stop until it reaches the ends of the earth. If you believe your life will guide others through the darkness they can't navigate alone, if you know in your spirit that your story is bigger than your struggles, if you're ready to step into the lighthouse calling that's been waiting for you since before you were born, comment, I am a lighthouse right now. Don't just type it, declare it, prophesy it. Let heaven hear your voice saying yes to the assignment that will define not just your legacy, but the legacy of everyone who follows the light you're about to release. Because chosen one, the global shift is happening whether you participate or not. But your participation determines how many souls make it safely to the other side. The ships are coming, the storm is raging, and you are the light they've been searching for in the darkness. The question isn't whether you're qualified. The question is whether you're willing. Chosen one, we've reached the moment where everything converges. Every word you've heard tonight, every stirring in your spirit, every confirmation that made your soul tremble, it all leads to this explosive truth. The wave isn't coming anymore. It's here. It's crashing through your life right now, and you're not drowning in it. You're riding it straight into your destiny. Look back at your journey. Those sleepless nights when you wrestled with God, that was training. Those seasons when people walked away and left you standing alone, that was positioning. Those moments when you felt like quitting but something inside wouldn't let you, that was preparation for this very hour, when heaven would need you to stand unshakable while others stumble in confusion. The trials weren't your punishment, beloved. They were your promotion ceremony. Every tear you cried in secret was a seed planted in spiritual soil. Every betrayal that nearly broke you was actually breaking off chains you didn't even know you were wearing. Every delay that frustrated you was God's perfect timing, protecting you from arriving before you were ready. But now you're ready. Isaiah 60:1 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Do you hear that thunder in those words? This isn't gentle suggestion, this is divine command. Arise. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more prepared. Right now. Your light hasn't been building up to shine someday. It has come. Present tense. Active voice. Explosive reality. You've been asking God for a sign. Chosen one, you are the sign. You've been begging heaven for breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. You've been praying for someone to rescue you from the wilderness, but God never intended to rescue you from it. He intended to make you the guide who leads others through it. John 15:2 reveals the divine strategy. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes that it may bear more fruit. That cutting you felt, that stripping away of everything familiar, that wasn't God destroying your life. That was God preparing you for multiplication. You weren't being diminished. You were being distilled down to your purest essence, so his power could flow through you without obstruction. Right now, as these words hit your spirit, something is shifting in the atmosphere around you. Can you feel it? That electricity in the air? That sense that time itself is holding its breath? You're not imagining it, beloved. You're experiencing the moment when heaven officially releases you into your next dimension of authority. Joshua 1-9 thunders across the centuries directly into your situation. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. This isn't encouragement for the weak. This is a battle cry for the chosen. God isn't asking you to be strong. He's commanding it. Because what's ahead of you requires the kind of strength that doesn't come from human willpower, but from divine backing. You are not the debris being tossed around in this storm, chosen one. You are the flame that cannot be put out. Every wind that tried to extinguish you only made you burn brighter. Every flood that came to drown you only taught you to walk on water. Every mountain thrown in your path only became the elevation from which you now see farther than ever before. The reset isn't just happening to the world, it's happening through you. While others panic in the chaos, you'll move with supernatural calm. While confusion spreads like wildfire, your clarity will cut through the smoke like a sword. While fear grips the masses, your faith will be the lighthouse that guides them home. Now I speak this prophetic blessing over your life. May every weapon formed against you not just fail but backfire onto its sender. May every door that was slammed in your face swing open with such force it can never be closed again. May every voice that spoke death over your dreams be silenced by the sound of your success. May every season of lack be overturned by an avalanche of abundance that you can't contain. I bless your mind with clarity that cuts through deception like a laser through fog. I bless your heart with peace that makes no earthly sense in earthly circumstances. I bless your hands with the power to heal what's broken and build what's never been seen. I bless your voice with authority that makes demons tremble and angels rejoice. You are protected by blood that hell cannot penetrate. You are covered by wings that storms cannot ruffle. You are sealed with a name that makes kingdoms bow and strongholds crumble. The same God who split the Red Sea has split your impossibilities wide open. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is now raising you from every area where you felt defeated. This isn't the end of your story, beloved. This is where your story gets rewritten in golden ink across the pages of eternity. Subscribe to this channel not for entertainment, but for equipment. Like this video not for algorithms, but for alignment. Share this message not for views, but for victory, because someone in your circle needs to hear this word before midnight strikes on their hope. Right now, wherever you are, lift your voice. Don't worry about who might hear you. Declare out loud, God, I receive everything you've spoken over my life tonight. I step into my authority. I embrace my assignment. I am ready for my reset. Say it like you mean it. Say it like your breakthrough depends on it, because it does. Chosen one, the reset is here, but so is your rise. You are unstoppable. You are undeniable. You are unforgettable. And tomorrow morning, when you wake up, you won't be the same person who started watching this video. You'll be the warrior heaven has been waiting to unleash upon this generation. The wave didn't come to wash you away. It came to carry you home. Conclusion. Chosen one, as we close this sacred moment together, let me remind you of the three truths that must echo in your heart long after this video ends. First, your trials were never punishment, they were preparation for this divine reset. Second, the restlessness you've been feeling isn't anxiety, it's anticipation of breakthrough. Third, you are not behind schedule, you are precisely positioned for such a time as this. Listen to me carefully, beloved. You are not walking this journey alone. The same God who never left Moses in the wilderness, who never abandoned David in the cave, who never forsook Job in his darkest hour, that same faithful God has never taken his eyes off you, not for 1 second, not through one tear, not through one sleepless night. And here in this community, you've found more than viewers, you've found family. Thousands of chosen ones around the world are lifting your name before the throne right now, praying for your breakthrough, believing for your victory, standing with you in the gap when your own strength feels insufficient. Before I pray over you, let me ask you this. What would change in your life if you truly believed that heaven has been orchestrating every detail of your story for this very moment? Now, let's pray together. Father God, I place my hands on the shoulders of every precious soul who has watched this message. Touch them with the same power that parted seas and moved mountains. Heal every broken place in their heart. Restore every dream that was deferred. Open every door that was slammed shut. Let them feel your presence so powerfully that doubt becomes impossible. Give them supernatural peace that surpasses understanding. Grant them wisdom for every decision. Provide for every need. Protect them from every scheme of the enemy. And let them wake up tomorrow, knowing, not hoping, but knowing that their reset has begun. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. If this word touched your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Comment below and share what God whispered to your heart. Ask your questions. This community is here to pray with you. Share this message with someone who needs to remember they're chosen, because your testimony could be the lifeline someone else desperately needs. Thank you for trusting me with your time tonight. Thank you for opening your heart to receive. If this channel has blessed you, subscribe and walk this journey with us. Together, we're watching God rewrite stories across the globe. You are loved. You are chosen. You are never alone. Until next time, stay blessed.